Shazam! Damn it! Shazam! Released in 2019 and is directed by David F. Sandberg, who's directed such films like Lights Out and Annabelle Creation. A horror director going into a kid's superhero film. And this film stars Zachary Levi, Mark Strong, Asher Angel, Jake Dylan Grazer, and Jamon Hunsao. The mighty wizard Shazam is the last of his kind and the last defender against the 7 deadly sins. So Shazam is looking for a new champion to harness his powers and to protect the world. Looking for someone who is pure of heart. Enter Billy Batson, played by Asher Angel. He has been chosen to be the champion of Shazam, and all he needs to do to harness that power is to say the wizard's mighty name. And then he turns into Zachary Levi, and he's all playful and joyful and things. The latest in the DC Extended Universe, or the world of DC's, whatever the heck this thing is called. And it's been a rough going over the past couple of years. I've really liked the films that have come out, but the majority of people out there, the vocal majority, really don't like them. We have Man of Steel, which I think is a masterpiece. Batman v Superman, which I also think is an incredible film. Wonder Woman, which I think is the peak of this DCEU, plus it's the reason why I started my YouTube channel. Then we had Justice League, which people really don't like talking about. Then we had Aquaman, which was a huge hit last year. Aquaman did over $1 billion. Justice League, Batman v Superman couldn't do that. And then along came this small little tiny film called Shazam. A film that a lot of people didn't think was actually going to be made, because they released their slate a couple of years ago saying, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a Cyborg movie, a Flash movie, we're gonna do Green Lantern, we're gonna do Justice League Part 2, maybe Part 3, we're also gonna throw in some Batman and Superman movies in there. That hasn't happened. But this was on that slate, so when they started moving things around, Batman v Superman wasn't a big of a hit as they wanted it to be. I was thinking, hey, this Shazam film ain't happening. Plus, they announced that Black Adam was going to be played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and that movie hasn't even happened yet, nor have we seen any, like, costume test with him in it. So it's like, this film is not happening. But then the director of Aquaman, James Wan, helps David F. Sandberg become the director of the Shazam film. And I go, oh, a nice horror film director that handles a lot of small budgets? Huh. That might be really good for the DCEU. And my god, it was. This film is an absolute joy. I felt a smile on my face the entire time watching this. All due to one person, and that is Zachary Levi. His energy, his performance it's contagious. He was able to take the concept of, I am a child, I have a child's brain in an adult body, to heart. Because you can get some adult actors trying to act like children, and it doesn't come off too well a lot of the time, which we may or may not get in this film. But when Zachary Levi came on screen, I felt the energy of this film pick up. Because before Zachary Levi as Shazam showed up, this film, I wouldn't say it was dragging, but the energy just felt lacking there at first. Just felt like we were kind of going through the motions. Actually, we went through the motions of the same, like, searching process a couple of times here before we got to Zachary Levi. That searching spell of Shazam, that's not an effective spell. But I will admit, in the first part of this film, we get introduced to Billy Batson's foster family, which, this foster family, it's the best thing in this entire film. I wanted more. I want a whole film of just this foster family. Every single one of the kids, the parents, I love these foster parents. And my biggest critique of this film is, I want more of them. What we got, I loved, but just give me more. This is great stuff. And we see Billy Batson, fighting against the love that they're trying to provide to him. And he starts to find solace in this newfound power that he got from this wizard. So we get the classic disconnect of, hey, I'm all powerful, and the fame's kind of going to my head, like how it would with a child. Heck, even as an adult it would. But that's something I commend this film for. They don't stray away from the ideas that we have about growing up with superpowers. Because when I was a kid, I wanted superpowers. I wanted to be able to fly and to lift things and to have freeze breath and laser eyes. But I know as an adult, just kind of looking back on myself, I know I would not have used that for good, or at least initially. I would have tried to exploit myself. Yeah, take your picture with me. I'll take a couple of bucks. Oh yeah. definitely would have done that as a kid. Heck, I would have done that as an adult. But how Zachary Levi plays Billy Batson as an adult version of himself, I love. It's very genuine. It's very Tom Hanks in Big, which I guess if you're gonna make an analogy, this film, Shazam, is Big, just with superpowers. And he can go back and forth between being a child and an adult. Jake Dylan Grazer, who was one of the kids in the first chapter of It, he was great here. He plays Freddy and he's obsessed with superpowers, and he has some really heartfelt moments in this film. Asher Angel, who I had never seen before, the younger version of Billy Batson, I think he was more mature than Zachary Levi. One of the small criticisms that I have now taking a look back at the film, their connection between each other, the child version and the adult version, it missed for me a couple of times. Billy Batson, when he's a child, he's very introverted, he's very shy, he's very to himself. And then all of a sudden when he gets these powers, when he's Zachary Levi and he's Shazam, he's kind of all out there and in your face. And if that's the way that they were gonna go, maybe we could have seen that go into the child version of Billy Batson a little bit more. See that arrogance and see that outgoingness just a little bit more as a child. And I think we have a really solid villain in Mark Strong, Dr. Savannah. Some of the criticism I'm reading is that the motivation behind this character, it's a little thin, which I really don't understand at all. I bought his motivation 100%. And it's all established in the first 5 minutes of the film. And then when he's older, when he's Mark Strong and he's doing his evil things, we get the David F. Sandberg horror directing. There are some scenes that I think they're a little terrifying for little children to watch, because you know families are going to go see this thing. So if you are a parent and you haven't seen it but you're planning on taking your children, just know that there are a couple of scenes you may have to close their eyes a little bit. But the whole aesthetic of this film, I love. It's set at Christmas time, which I think is perfect when we're talking about a foster family and trying to have that love and connection with your family, regardless of if they're blood or if they're adopted. And this film had a smaller budget than what you would compare with a standard superhero flick. It only had about 80 million. But as screenings for this film started happening, I know they threw a lot more money at it to add a little bit more for the visual effects. I think the visual effects looked really great. The Seven Deadly Sins looked really cool. Shazam himself in that suit and the visual effects of him flying, throwing out thunder and everything, that looked great. And there are so many just geeky nuggets in this film. If you blink, you miss them, but if you catch them, the little geek inside of you is going to go, woohoo! And probably the biggest one is that post-credit scene. They set it up early on in the movie, and then they tease it again in the credits. And I was like, oh my god, it's him! I like that! It's interesting. This film it's about a guy who is an adult playing a child in a superhero's body, and the more that I talk about this, I feel that youthfulness, that love, that excitement that I used to get when I was a kid. Going to a superhero film because they were so rare and so far in between going to the movie theaters, or Christmas Day, going downstairs and opening up the presents. That's how I felt when watching this film. So when you get that awesome feeling, that excitement, how can I not recommend this? I think the DCEU struck gold with this film. This was on the back burner. I don't think anyone was giving this a shot. And then from out of nowhere, this is a home run. Is it as amazing as critics and as fans are hailing it to be? I don't think so. Because like I said, I think there are some disconnects between the child version of Billy Batson and the adult version of Billy Batson. The story structure, we get a lot of beats that are repeated throughout the film, like a lot, like 4 or 5 times, the same beat. And there are several moments that are just there just to get a joke in. Which part of me was like, hey, those jokes are funny, but the other part of me was thinking, well, they're probably trying to put those jokes in. They're not doing as bad of a job as they did with Suicide Squad. Just trying to put in jokes and music and things and make it flashy and make it cool because we don't want it to be as dark as Batman v Superman, a film that I loved. But a lot of times you can feel them stretching for something. But all in all, this film overall, it has a solid heart, it has a solid core. This is just a great family picture, and how can I not recommend this? This made me feel great when I was walking out of the theater. I love the majority of the performances here. I love this foster family. Give me a whole film with them. I want to see all these characters return for the sequel. I want to see them 5 more times down the road with the Shazam family. Put them in that Black Adam movie. I don't care. I want to see them constantly. I had a great time with this. It's doing well in the box office. I think you'll have a great time with it too. So I'm going to give Shazam 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part in my videos where I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next, so let's take a look. Okay, cool. I've actually been wanting to see this film, Project Almanac, a movie directed by the guy who directed that new remake of Power Rangers, which I love. I recently watched that again. That movie is fantastic, especially if you were a Power Rangers fan growing up. But this film I know came out before that, and I know a lot of the aesthetic that he uses in this film went over to that Power Rangers movie, so I'm excited. I have never seen this before, but what I can recall from watching the trailers whenever this thing came out, it's about time travel, I think, and they're teenagers. I don't know if they have like a 40-year-old or 80-year-old professor that has a DeLorean, but I am super pumped to check it out. So everyone, have you seen Shazam? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, please comment below, let me know what you think about it. And don't forget, we are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2019, and of course, if we do that, I will torture myself for all of your enjoyment by watching the movie that I never want to watch again, Arachnophobia. I'll record myself watching it too. I don't know if I'm going to do like a whole live stream or if I'm just going to get the best parts of me freaking out. I'm probably going to get drunk while I watch it too, now that I'm thinking about it. There's no way I couldn't watch that without getting drunk. So if you like what you see here and you haven't hit the button yet, hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends, tell your family who also likes listening to people talk about movies and movie reviews. Tell them to hit the subscribe button too. So everyone, I will see you next time with my review of Project Almanac. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch your movie. Take care, guys.